Welcome to the R&BE, Thor Ragnarok Extravaganza. This is where Robert and I are going to discuss with you.
We're live already?
Yeah, we are. This is where you guys can tell how into this Rob is as he's typing on his phone.
No, I'm looking at Instagram.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah, it does.
So today we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok. I mean, we saw it yesterday morning when this goes up. It was me, Rob, Nathalie, and various members of the crew, and we thought it'd be interesting to bring Nathalie in here, even though she's terrified to talk about
I feel very out of place. I really do.
Why do you feel so out of place?
Because comics is not exactly my world. I would say my world is more video games.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
And furries.
Yes. Among other things.
So yes, for those of you guys who are joining us for the first time, this is the weekly podcast that Rob and I do, and I thought I just muted that, and that apparently did not. This is the weekly podcast that Rob and I do, known as R&BE, the Rob and Benny Experiment. But this week, and this week alone, it means the Rob, Nathalie, Ben Experiment.
Yeah.
I like it.
That works.
Okay.
I like it.
And if you like the three of us and you like our band, don't forget to check out our gaming channel where we weekly discuss various lists and topics and stuff about video games.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. All right, let's discuss this thing. So,
It was a movie.
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable film. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
Hold on. Nathalie, what was your opinion?
10 out of 10 would recommend.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. What's next on the agenda?
I don't know, video games. Discussion on
No, but
Monster?
seriously, no. So Thor Ragnarok, let's kick it off. Let's kind of go, since this is the long form discussion podcast, let's start from the beginning of the movie, go to the end.
Okay.
So let's take it in that manner, because otherwise we're going to be scatterbrained as all hell, and it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Man, like 39 minutes in, that was great, but so was the 12-minute in moment, and then, man, the ending. And also, yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what would happen.
So before we move into it, let's do the non-spoiler version.
Okay.
So non-spoiler, in my opinion, this took the cake as my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was a great blend of like action and comedy.
Yeah. Before, for me, it was Guardians of the Galaxy. This took it, though.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. My favorite was Guardians until this one came out, for sure.
Okay.
Because I'm not a big fan of Marvel, so... Yeah, thank you.
Just
I'm not a big fan of Marvel, so this one definitely sold it for me.
Yeah, this one was hilarious. I just loved every moment of it. So all three of us definitely recommend Thor Ragnarok. Definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
If that's all you needed, peace. I stole your stick. Stole it.
It's all good.
I stole it.
Coming
week.
soon to Comics Explained, X Story, the complete story.
The dramatic complete story.
Welcome to the Complete Story series, where we take trade paperbacks of single issues and read them dramatically back to you.
No, you missed something.
You messed it up. Yeah, you messed up my intro. You can't steal my intro.
Hold on, how was the whole intro?
Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down to the digestible bites so that I can read them dramatically back to you.
Did you
To help
see
you
my
understand.
There was
To help you understand.
Oh yeah.
Then
help
you
you
just
understand.
varied it, yeah.
I don't know if you saw my Rob Core video, but I was like, it was basically a tribute to my fans, and I was thinking, I was like, thank you guys so much for watching. And I was like, if I wasn't here, then you guys would be stuck. Like waiting and having somebody, dramatically read stories back to you.
I got hit up with that.
You're welcome.
Hashtag Benny sucks.
Yeah, hashtag Benny
Oh,
sucks.
man.
So anyway, so that's it. That's our opinion on the actual movie. Let's move into spoiler territory.
Okay.
Now, right out of the gate, this movie picks up kind of where Age of Ultron left off.
It kind of does, and that's the funny thing, because Spider-Man did that.
Yeah.
And then this does that as well. Guardians of the Galaxy is totally unaffected. But yeah, I mean, what is it, 2 years, I think they said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Age of Ultron attacked, picks up where he left off. Thor got weird visions, and he's off to go do things. Mm-hmm. So right off the bat, it was the Ragnarok plot, right? It's been a long time since I read it, but
No.
like the opening was the original plot. This is the guy that's going to cause Ragnarok on Asgard.
No.
Okay.
Ragnarok. The Ragnarok comic opens up with Loki getting his own hammers made by Surtur.
Right, but no, what I'm saying is like the overall plot. Surtur is the one that destroyed Asgard in the comic Ragnarok, right?
No.
Okay, then I'm thinking of something else then.
That's Norse mythology. In Norse mythology, Surtur is the one that waits till Ragnarok happens.
Yeah.
And then burns away everything.
Okay.
So that's the actual Norse mythology. No, and that's one of the things that I was saying before. When it comes to Ragnarok in the comic or Ragnarok in the movie, it's not really the comics and it's not really Norse mythology. It's just kind of its own interpretation of Ragnarok. It's kind of weird how it unfolds. In the comics, Loki's the one who launches Ragnarok. Fenris Wolf is just one of the people who's there fighting. You have like Iron Man and Captain America who show up. There's a lot of things that take place in the comics that you never saw here. So
Yeah.
it's basically just a total rework of Ragnarok in its entirety.
Right. Okay. So, but
What?
no, we're gonna go to you.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna
fine.
to you.
No,
We're
it's.
done.
I'm just. I am.
okay.
No, I'm just listening. I'm trying
Your
to
hands are
follow.
warm.
Yeah, I just got out of the shower. That's why. But no, seriously though, I'm trying to follow. So don't
no,
feel
it's
like I'm
fine.
just yeah.
So the opening pretty much picks up with him in the chains, kind of recapping how he got here.
Yeah.
You know,
that is a cool thing.
Which I thought was kind of interesting because he was basically addressing the audience at
Yeah.
the same time that he was addressing a skeleton.
What a genius idea though, because then you don't feel left out.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't care about Guardians of the Galaxy, if you're like whatever, it's totally isolated, all I care about is the Earth-based stuff, then you don't feel left out if you didn't read Guardians or you didn't see Guardians of the Galaxy. You're just like, I saw Avengers 2, and then you go directly into this, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think as Marvel's been doing a great job. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a period where they were way too heavily linked together, but we've gotten back to where they're like, these are solo movies that stand on their own, but they're kind of linked in. It's something
Yeah.
that I feel DC's not able to do properly. We either get a standalone great movie like Wonder Woman,
Yeah,
or we get
it's true.
Batman
Yeah.
v Superman, which is great movie for an hour.
I knew that was going
And
to
then-
come up
well,
somewhere along the line.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Batman v Superman's a great movie. It like the actual movie of Batman v Superman, but half that movie is just ads for other movies.
Yeah.
And that's part of the core problem with Batman v Superman. You can debate all you want the characters, how they're portrayed. That's a different debate all along, you know. But the fact that that movie is also a giant trailer for every other movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah,
I
Thor
agree.
didn't do that. As a matter of fact, I can't think of anything other than the post-credit scene, which we'll get to eventually, that linked to any other movie.
That's entirely true. There were
Yeah.
references. You know, there were things like the Age
They
of
talked
Ultron
about
thing where it was-
Sokovia.
Exactly, but it was, you did not have to feel as though you had to have seen everything in order to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You can just kind of pick and choose what you
His opening recap was great. And then, of course, it opens right up with, I think, the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Thor is just brash,
Yeah.
ahead of himself, just goofing off.
Yeah.
Everybody's goofy, which is the best part for me, to be honest.
You liked all the
Just
goofiness?
Yeah, throughout the movie, it was just nothing but jokes. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Which, for the record, if you are not a fan of quippy Marvel, you're not going to like
Oh,
this.
You're
yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
like this. You know, I don't know, because the early reviews, people were saying they didn't like it because they thought it was too funny. But I was like, no, I mean, this is great.
Yeah. I don't know. After so many dark and gritty superhero movies or
Yeah.
attempts at dark and gritty superhero movies, having just a total lighthearted fare,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I did. And maybe it's just because I'm kind of getting burned out on every other movie's like the dark and gritty version of your favorite superhero today, Aunt May, Punisher.
In today's Spider-Man movie, everyone died. It's sad. What do you think?
Guardians did the same thing though.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
Throughout the
A lot of quips, a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
So there's the opening. We find out the one of the funnier things with like this what appears to be an old decrepit version of Serta. He's got he's got like a limp.
Oh, yeah, when he gets up? Yeah, he's just like, man, I'm struggling. It's been a while.
I haven't got out of my chair.
Yeah. It is kind of funny.
Yeah, and then we have the opening with the music. Totally not in tune.
Well, I do have a question. Was he not supposed to be like all like
He's
really
just always
walking or?
giant and imposing. He's just a
Yeah.
fire demon, basically.
Yeah, throughout the comics, Surtur's not the size of a regular guy.
Oh.
Like, and even then, he was still pretty big, but like the size you saw him at the end
Yeah.
is how big Surtur always is in the comics.
I mean, even at the very beginning, when he gets really close to Thor, like his face is like probably like 3 or 4 times the size of his.
Yeah, he grew as he was going.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Thor even make the joke like you're getting
no,
bigger?
no. He was. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe he did grow in size, but no, he's colossal. Like he's a huge guy.
Yeah.
It's insane how big Surtur is.
So the opening was pretty good. I thought it set the movie up very well. It gave the tone. Like right off the bat, you're like, this is going to be jokey.
Yeah,
We're not going to get
definitely.
anything serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so right off the bat, we're good to go. And then we head back home to Asgard.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, you notice something's wrong. Heimdall's not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a really intriguing thing because I don't think Heimdall, they never really said what happened. Like he was there at the end of like Thor 2, right?
Well,
And then-
because she was confused too.
Yeah.
So what they say is that Heimdall was declared a traitor once Odin went
Oh
missing.
yes, that guy.
Oh, so Loki
No, not
just
Odin went missing. Yeah, basically, once Loki took over, Heimdall
Yeah.
just left. Then he was declared a traitor because he never came for his trial. That's what they're saying.
True. That's
Yeah.
true.
So I'm assuming when Loki came in,
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because Heimdall serves whoever it is that's on the throne.
yeah,
He doesn't serve allegiance to Odin himself.
Right.
So
So-
that's
Right.
right. I forgot about that.
and he didn't like Loki.
Yeah.
I mean, who does?
I
Except
love Loki.
us.
Yeah, dude. I love Loki's character. He's one of the best characters in all movies.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so you were a little confused right there because Heimdall's
yeah.
character you vaguely remembered from the previous
I
movies.
feel bad too because every time I lean over, I'm just like, I'm just gonna mess the whole movie up for him. But because they're just gonna talk and say something important, I'm just gonna ask you who this character is, and you're just gonna be like, oh, I missed something because she asked me something.
I wouldn't say that at all.
Yeah.
I like explaining it to you as we're going.
Yeah, I just felt bad. I was like, I don't remember this guy. I mean, I've seen all the Thor movies, but I just didn't remember this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So we go into that. We go to the Loki thing. That was great. I loved the Loki moment.
Yeah, that was a funny exchange.
Like you go up and you see Odin, and Odin's like lounging and he's eating grapes.
Yeah. He's like, what have you been doing? It's like, oh, board meetings and stuff. I've got things to do. And
But to me, it made sense. So I mean, to you guys, it didn't make sense. It's just like you knew that it was Loki.
Oh yeah,
I knew something was wrong. I didn't know it was Loki.
Okay.
No, okay, because at the end of Thor,
me,
at the end of
just
Thor
like-
2, they showed that it was Loki who replaced Odin.
Oh, did they? I forget
Yeah.
that.
It was like a
Okay.
post-credit scene or something like that.
Oh,
Post-credit
okay.
scene. Yeah.
And he removed
Yeah.
Odin from the spot?
Yeah, well, all you knew was he got rid of Odin. You didn't know how.
Okay. And they never really explained how he did it
They
here
didn't
either.
really explain. Well, it kind of ties into the comics because in the comics, Odin. Well, maybe it's just Norse mythology. Odin will sometimes go among people,
Yeah.
Oh.
and he'll have like a hat and he'll have a coat or like a jacket or something like that, and he'll just blend in looking like a normal guy. I think he's called the Wanderer. I think is what he calls himself. But he does that in Norse mythology. I don't remember if he does it in the comics, and I think they were just kind of relying on that. Either that or you were just like, whatever, it's self-imposed exile. So
Yeah, I feel like it's an off-screen thing. I don't feel like we needed an explanation as to why he was removed. Do you feel like you were missing anything? But once we discovered Loki had taken his place, did you feel like you were missing anything? Like, where did this happen?
Not really. No.
No.
It just they just kept moving with it.
Right,
Just-
you're like,
yeah.
oh, he's missing. I'm fine.
Yeah.
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 that works.
Which I think brings us to I thought was one of the best scenes ever in the movie, the Doctor Strange Thor scene.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
That was hilarious.
That was really cool.
Well, Doctor Strange's powers have expanded quite a bit too since the Doctor Strange movie.
Even Thor was like, what's going on?
Yanking him around reality. I was like, holy cow, Doctor Strange! Like you're getting to like the classic Doctor Strange. He's
Yeah.
OP.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, he was the only thing I had a problem with was and maybe I'm the only one that noticed, did the gloves look that goofy in his movie?
A little bit. No.
They look like construction worker gloves.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like he's getting ready to put a house together.
Doctor Strange is out there.
Yeah. Just
Hey,
nailing
Thor,
stuff
how's it
together.
going?
Yeah, they looked a little cumbersome.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, he
that.
didn't have those in the movie, did he?
I don't think he had those in the movie.
Gary, did he have weird gloves in the movie?
In the standalone movie?
Yeah. No, he did not have weird gloves. So says the camera guy. They want a Gary cam, by the way. We're going to buy a Gary cam, and Gary cam will watch Gary.
Yeah, they'll just have Gary in the corner. Just sitting over there.
Checking camera.
4K.
We're going to get a 4K Gary cam. We're going to get a GoPro and
Yeah.
attach it to like a helmet that reverses it.
Yes. Get that awkward look.
It'll be entertaining, at the very least.
So then every time that you talk to Gary, we can then cut to Gary.
Yeah, that works.
No,
So
no,
anyway.
but yeah, Strange was just weird because in his movie he was just figuring out his powers and he was just very like, he was not as badass and just like very serious as
Yeah.
he was in the movie like today.
Yeah.
And just seeing him like just not even like cracking a joke or anything, or just being so serious, it was just like that's not the Doctor Strange that they portrayed in the other movie,
I mean, that's true. I mean, they definitely portrayed a different Doctor Strange this time. Instead of a wisecracking guy who's learning his
Yeah.
powers, it was, no, we're gone, and we're moving. And
Yeah.
even though it was like we could have walked.
I mean, it was very much like him just learning his abilities.
Yeah,
in the first one. So it was more of the exploration. Honestly, in this movie, and I don't know if I'm the only one, I was kind of hoping we would get like a Doctor Strange Loki fight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was hoping that we'd get more of Doctor Strange. Like they
Well,
brought
they-
him in, they obviously paid him. I don't know why they didn't do more of Doctor Strange in there. I get it was a cameo, but at the same time, I feel like it was a very missed opportunity to do something with Doctor Strange
Yeah.
in the Thor universe.
I would go with that.
Or even have it like have him show back up towards the tail end.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, here's a card. If you need me, call on me. And of course, Thor at the ending. I mean, we barely got any real Hulk at the ending. Why couldn't we get Doctor Strange for barely any time?
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, but that's kind of the issue, though. Is I mean, largely there was a lot of ground to cover in this movie.
Well,
too.
because they crammed so many storylines
They
into
did.
one.
They crammed a lot in there. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. So basically, we have the Odin missing plot. Let's go. Let's shift the focus of our thing. I feel like we're getting a little dry. We're just kind of recapping what happened in the show, the movie. So we're gonna move on to so we had the Odin plot. Odin's missing.
Yep.
Right. Then we had the Loki took over plot. Okay. We had Planet Sakaar. That is Planet Hulk.
Yep.
And we managed to get Meek and Korg in there.
Yeah, which were actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, no, they were great. I loved them. But we got Meek and Korg in there. Kind of surprised if they were going to throw them in, why we didn't just get the whole Warbound, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, all the other members of the Warbound kind of suck, though.
In general, they all sucked. That wasn't Korg, and that wasn't Meek.
No, he was a hilarious Korg, though. I would have loved to have read that Korg. You know,
Yeah.
if I read that Korg in Planet Hulk, it would have just been that much better.
Right, so basically, to catch everyone up, so basically what we discover is Odin is on the planet. Doctor Strange got him over there. We go to find Odin. Odin passes on?
Yes. Okay, so...
I'm trying to catch up so what we're talking about Meek and Korg, it makes sense.
Yeah, Odin dying is a weird thing.
Because he never dies.
He does, but he does at the hands of Surtur. So Odin has like the Odin Force, right? He's basically a giant battery for the Odin Force. And the Odin Force is a plot device. It's Marvel's, here's why Odin can do whatever it is that he wants to do. He's got the Odin Force. It's the life force of his two brothers who died fighting Surtur when they first met him. So that's it. That's all it is. But the more of the Odin Force he uses, the longer he has to sleep.
Okay.
Now, in the comics, because of the fact that Surtur had arrived in Norway in the story where Odin died, and he was like, okay, all hands on deck, we all have to go to Surtur, he just teleported a massive number of people to where Surtur was, drained so much of his energy, flew in to fight Surtur, and died. In this, he just kind of lets himself go. He just sort of disperses his energy.
He was just
I'm
like,
tired.
my wife
Yeah.
is calling me or something like that. Or like I can hear my wife talking to me.
Because that's a side question to that. He did mention her.
Yeah.
Has she been in the Thor movies?
She died.
Did she?
Frigga died in Thor 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah, she was stabbed.
Yeah, I don't
and
remember
killed.
that at all.
She was killed by, I don't know if it was Loki or if it was...
Loki's in the comics because it's a whole plot device.
No, well, yeah, no, that's it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was Loki or if it was what's his name in the movies, the one that I
The
can't
Dark
remember.
Elf guy? Malekith?
No, the one who turned himself into that huge monster thing because Malekith told him to.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name.
I
is.
barely
Anyway.
remember Dark World. What
Yeah.
does that say about Dark World?
Anyway, yeah, Frigga was already dead.
Okay.
so that was
he
him.
passes on, he goes there, and that's
Yeah.
when we meet the sister. So this is going to be the first of the where did this plot come from thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sister of Thor
Yes.
in the comics is Angela.
Yes.
And she's an angel from the 10th realm.
Okay.
Because there's 9 realms, and we have a 10th realm of angels.
Right.
And that's what Angela is. And she's not bad. She teams up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I feel is another missed opportunity since we have the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude, Angela was such a great character.
Even if it was a one-up, like Odin's like, well, your older sister. By the way, you also have a younger one.
So Angela was originally a Spawn character, and Marvel got the rights to her, and they were trying to find a way to roll her in. So they were just like, it's the sister of Thor and Loki they never knew about,
Right.
And that was it. It was yeah. It was,
And that's the plot of Hela, basically, though.
Yeah.
She's the sister that they never knew about.
That's kind of the crazy thing, because we were talking about this earlier, and it seemed like the whole plot with Hela in terms of everything she was doing was basically when Angela invaded Hell.
Yeah.
But Angela invaded Hell because she wanted Hela to release her girlfriend, and like Hela wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, then I'll just conquer your whole realm and release her myself. Like, it was,
Jesus.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Angela is actually really cool.
she's solid. She's a really cool character.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
why I'm kind of disappointed that we
Yeah, what did they
used
go with
the
her?
sister plot on.
Yeah.
But then again, it's movies. Do we ever think we'll get Angela in a movie? I mean,
I mean, I really wish we would, because like she wrecked Thor single-handedly.
Yeah.
Like when they fought, like she.
well, that's what I'm saying. They took that plot and they gave it to Hela.
Yeah.
And they made Hela just a straight bad guy.
Yeah.
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 So they just rewrote the whole history because I mean they showed like
The movie reworked a lot of Thor's history.
That's
a lot.
That's the crazy thing. So in the comics, Hela is basically just a chick who is supposedly the daughter of Loki. It's super weird. Doesn't matter. But the whole thing is she constantly basically tries to acquire the spirits of Thor and Odin. Like all these different schemes. She tried to start Ragnarok once.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it's the whole idea that she's just trying to get the souls of Loki and Thor, and that's it.
Okay.
I mean, that's really all it is. In terms of her like leading an army against Asgard, with the exception of the time that she allied herself with Loki and tried to start Ragnarok, I don't think there's ever been a major scenario like that before. Not that I know of that she successfully conquered Asgard.
Right.
That's never happened. So.
And the sister plot is Odin kept it from them, didn't tell them they had a sister.
Yeah.
She shows up, they fight, they go to her realm, they have a whole battle in her realm. Her realm's going to invade, I believe. The angels are going to invade.
The angels are going to invade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was a really cool story.
But that's what I mean. They rolled that all into Hela. That whole plot has been rolled into her.
Yes.
Just like there's supposed to be 9 realms, then we discovered there's a 10th realm, and Hela reveals that there's many more.
Yeah, well, see, that feeds into the whole Doctor Strange thing, though. I mean, like technically speaking, the way that it works is you have like just Asgard is one of many dimensions.
right.
So, like every universe has its own Asgard, and so that's kind of cool because the whole idea is you can in turn apply that to like the entirety of the multiverse. So then, who knows what you would see?
Yeah.
Like that leads into introductions like Beta Ray Bill and all that kind of stuff. So again, it feeds into the whole Doctor Strange thing because from that movie, it looks like, and based on what they said here, it looks like they're building up like, hey, there's a multiverse out here. So there's like a litany of other things that we can explore besides what you've seen.
I think we're just always going to get a hint at that. I feel like that's
You
too
think so?
much for the movies. Not that the moviegoer wouldn't understand the concept of the multiverse, but I feel like how many movies can you possibly make when you start branching into the multiverse?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It allows
We're
for future
already in
expansion.
oversaturation of superhero movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. But I mean, if I wouldn't quit.
Oh no, I'm not
Like,
quitting.
yeah, the Marvel movies are a license to print money. I wouldn't say, well, you know what, guys, we did Infinity War. I think we're done now.
No, they're definitely already saying they're going into phase 4.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a whole lot more.
So, I mean, what did you think of the sister plot and all that stuff?
Well, to me, I mean, I didn't know any of her background or anything, so it made sense to me because there's a reason why she showed back up.
Yeah.
And then it just explained why she was locked up in the first place. So to me, the reason why she showed back up made sense. Like it.
Oh no, it made sense, but
I mean,
did you
I didn't
like
question it. Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
Personally,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I wish it was
Because
Angela.
didn't know
I do
anything
like
else.
I do like what they did with that though.
Oh yeah, I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a lot more, like the Hela we saw in this movie is infinitely more interesting than the Hela
Yeah?
from the comics.
Okay.
She sucks. She's not
How?
interesting at all.
Why not?
Because she's a character that's only appeared maybe 200-300 times, and she just has minor stories here and there. She's more of a nuisance.
Oh.
Than anything else. Hela was the first instance of Marvel offering an explanation of where people go when they die in Marvel Comics. And she appeared in like 64, and then I want to say like Mistress Death appeared in 75. So then it was a question of, okay, well, where do people go when they die? Did they go to the realm of Mistress Death, or did they go to Hela?
Right.
You know, and so at that point, it was just whatever. They just started kind of including her in stories here and there, and that was about it.
Right.
But like Hela in the comics she's okay, but she's not by any means extraordinarily interesting.
But she's still the goddess of death, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the way it worked in Marvel before they introduced Mistress Death, the chick that Thanos was hunting after, is they basically said those individuals who believe in Asgard and they die in honorable combat
Right.
go to Valhalla.
Okay.
Those people who don't, or those people who just died for whatever reason, and if they didn't believe in Asgard or whatever the case may be, they go to the realm of Mistress Death, to Hell. It's just their version of the afterlife. And that's the only role she played. And then Mistress Death popped up, and they're like, whatever, like, who cares? And so she would just pop up from time to time with some scheme against Thor and Loki, and then that would be, or Thor and Odin, and that would be it.
But what I don't understand is how can you top the goddess of death? Like,
That's the problem, is Death was already established by Hela, and then they introduced Mistress Death, and it just threw everything off kilter.
Well, that's the problem with Marvel in general. There's like 10 different kings of hell. Like we were talking earlier about a Ghost Rider storyline, and I'm like, Lucifer attacks. And he's like, well, he's not the real king of hell, that's Mephisto. Fact of the matter is, they're all the king of hell. Like, depending on whose storyline you're in.
That's the crazy thing. But see, other characters, it makes sense. Mephisto takes the souls of people he tricks.
right.
And so that's where his hell is filled with, just people that he swindled into taking their souls, like Doctor Doom's mom, different things like that. But like the problem is when, like with Mistress Death, like when an average person who just lived a regular life in the Marvel Universe, when they die, where do they go? Do they go to the realm of Hela, or do they go to the realm of Mistress Death? Because they're two distinctly different places. They're not the same place.
I'm pretty sure there's more than just those two also.
Oh yeah, there's other things too. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other places that you can go to. I mean, there's actual heaven.
Yeah.
And and there's the land of the Greek gods, and all that kind of good stuff. So
Jeez.
it gets really confusing and really really chaotic.
That's a video we should make. The afterlife of
The
DC and
afterlife?
Marvel.
Yeah, DC makes a lot more sense in the afterlife.
DC
than
tries
Marvel
to keep it
does.
on track to an extent, but even that's way
Yeah,
blown out.
It does get kind of weird.
So that brings me to the next big point I want to bring up, and I want to start with your opinion on
Oh
this.
God.
Breaking the hammer.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that happen, guys? Just like,
It's the power of the plot. The plot called for it.
okay.
I don't know.
The plot called
Yeah,
for
what do you call that? Cutscene immunity?
Yes,
it's plot
cutscene.
immunity.
It really, I don't know how I feel about that. Because the hammer has gotten its own origin. So in the comics recently, this isn't old and they're getting rid of it.
Oh, I know
recently.
because Rob was flipping out about it, and you guys were talking about it, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, when
Thor's
the
hammer broke. How?
The Thor's hammer in the comics is a sentient storm from space that was trapped inside of the hammer
Yeah.
and is alive and has a consciousness.
And it has power equal to
Whoa.
Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And in the movie,
trapped it.
huh?
Odin trapped it.
Yeah, there's a whole story where he traps it in the hammer, and then he himself can't wield the hammer, and it deems who it wants worthy. Mm-hmm. Which then has led
Okay.
to a more recent plot of what is really worthy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even Secret Empire explored that one because Captain America can wield the hammer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
It's like Thor can't lift it because he doesn't believe he's worthy.
Yeah.
That's why he can't lift it.
But that leaves that
weird.
And I feel like this is the first hole in the plot.
Yeah.
So she breaks the hammer. We discover later in the movie that Thor has had the power inside of him all along, and the hammer was a conduit.
Right.
Right,
That's
okay.
that's what his father said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I can buy that. How does the hammer, I don't know, drop a dragon's head to the ground? Nobody can lift it. Like,
Okay, that has an established precedent. There was a story, and I don't even remember who wrote it anymore. There was a story where Thor fought a Celestial.
okay.
And he channeled all the strength belt that he has that you don't even hear from anymore. It was just gone one day. Mama just wrote it out. It was weird.
Well, it's like Deadpool's teleporting belt. Hey, let's give him this. Oh, he's too OP with that. Give it to him.
Yeah, it's there in one comic and then it's never referenced again.
Wow.
But Thor had a-
Side note, that because everyone asked me about Deadpool's teleporting belt, that is in like 3 issues of a comic and disappears forever.
Really?
But
The body slide belt, like body slide by
no,
two?
he know because the game does it and like he uses it quite a bit in various things. People people know it because of the games. He has a teleporting belt. He acquired it in like one of the runs. It was recent too, like 2008, 2009. He acquired it, used it for 3 issues, it vanished.
Wow.
And he's never had a teleporting belt ever since.
I
then.
mean, a teleporting Deadpool is pretty OP.
They pretty much gave him a belt that gave him Nightcrawler's powers.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I could definitely deal with that.
Okay, so anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, so anyway, so Thor had a belt that basically doubled his strength. And then he has a God Blast, which is where he just takes all the conceivable energy he can muster into himself and then just channels it through his hammer. He hit a Celestial with it and shattered his own hammer. So there's a precedent for that. The problem is they didn't expand on it. So it was just Thor throwing his hammer, and you don't know if it's because, he just put all the energy behind it. My idea is it was an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. And so there was so much, like his hammer, once it goes in a direction, will never stop.
Right.
Until it reaches its destination. And so
Which
when
is
he threw
funny
it-
side note when he calls it a Doctor Strange.
Oh, dude.
The
He's like,
umbrella.
well, I'll be going. And you just hear things breaking throughout the entire house.
Boom.
He's like,
Glass smashing.
sorry
Sorry.
about that. Yeah.
I was expecting a wall to like blow out and the hammer come through.
But yeah, you were
um,
saying anyway.
But yeah, I mean that's what it seemed like to me. It's like he threw the hammer and the hammer was just going to keep going, and it was just the force of its own momentum that just shattered it against the hand of Hela.
But because he never got it back.
Yeah.
So we've eradicated. So how do you, not knowing Thor, knowing that he's the hammer guy,
Yes.
hammer bro,
Well, I'd like to think that I know a little bit
Whack-a-mole.
more than that, but yes.
what do you think of that?
I mean, it's good for him, right? He doesn't need the hammer to actually have powers, so that's good. He found the powers within him.
But as far as the casual
pretty
moviegoer
cool.
goes, I think like it'd be like Captain America losing his shield,
Yeah.
Spider-Man not having webs.
That's true.
Like this
I mean,
is
yeah, it is-
Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
It's Iron
think
Man
he's,
with no armor.
do you
That's
think,
Tony Stark. He still has powers, playboy, philanthropist.
I could see that Tony Stark
Billionaire.
is just gonna show up in the next movie and just have like, here you go. I just
I made another
I made
one.
another one for you.
I mean, that's what he did in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
Really?
Didn't he do that with Captain America's shield too? He gave him like basically the exact same thing but a hologram.
I think Iron Man designed, what was it?
Well, he just
In the Ultimate Universe, Thor got a new hammer designed by the European version of the Super Soldier program. And then I think when that one got destroyed or depowered or whatever, he got one designed by Tony Stark. And then he got his... It's weird. It's a weird history with that one. I don't think he ever designed a shield for Captain. Did he design a shield
I think
for
it was in the
Captain America?
comics. He did.
Did he?
He
In the
made a
comics?
hard light construct. I'm
the
not even
shield?
joking.
Wow.
Hard light construct shield that was in a wristband. Was it? No, it was in the cartoon. Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah, that I remember.
Yeah,
but I don't
and he
remember
made
that in
the hard light
comics. Okay.
construct shield that he could throw it.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty
He's
awesome.
the Green Lantern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Say the oath, Captain America. You know the oath.
Say the oath. You can have willpower. Actually, wouldn't he be Blue Lantern? You can have hope. All will be well.
I don't know, man. I would love to see like a Red Lantern Captain America.
Yeah, that ain't ever gonna happen.
Just spewing with rage.
So how do you feel as the casual goer? Like, how do you feel about one of the most identifiable aspects of Thor,
I could
other
see-
than his
yeah.
hair, which they also cut off?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
now,
like
just
that.
now, all we have is he's the one with muscles, right?
Well, remember,
They
he's
all have
also-
muscles. They all have muscles.
They all do have it. Strongest Avenger. Denied. That was hilarious.
He said it twice too, which was
Strongest Avenger.
There is what this does. I think is actually it allows the door to be open for his enchanted axe, Yarnbjorn.
Oh, I always
Which I'm
call
really
it
kinda happy
Jambon.
about. Yeah, Jabberjorn.
Jabberjorn. I always mess up the.
Is that the one that's on Jane Foster's statue?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, so way back when Thor was younger, before he got the hammer,
Yes.
he was facing off. I think it was before he got the hammer. He was facing off against Apocalypse. Yeah, it was before he got the hammer. He was facing off against Apocalypse, and he had just the Yarbjorn axe to himself. But he couldn't defeat Apocalypse with it. So he ended up traveling back to Asgard, and there was a whole subplot with Kang the Conqueror, doesn't matter. Anyway, he had the axe magically enchanted so it could damage celestial armor, which is some of the most powerful armor in existence.
Right.
And that's why the axe is so powerful. Even now, if you read like Thor right now, the axe is still enchanted. So that's why it's... God, man, that thing looks amazing.
Right?
She's got the axe in one hand and the hammer in the other. Man, she came to play. She's ready for war. Oh my God.
That's Nathalie's Thor.
Yeah, it was my favorite Marvel statue that they had in store, so I really wanted it.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think it makes room for his enchanted axe to show up, which honestly, I'd love to see him get his hammer back, but I'd also love to see him in a movie with a...
Well, they've established he doesn't need a hammer at all.
Yeah, but I mean...
That the hammer doesn't mean anything. It's just a conduit, which he doesn't need anymore.
I mean, technically
That's
speaking...
proven when he turned into a Darth Lord of the Sith or a Warlock in Destiny. And he was just like, oh!
Just electrocuting everybody?
From afar on the bridge, it definitely looked like a warlock. Just shooting lightning.
I told Houston, he looked like a Titan from Destiny 2.
No, as soon as he started doing that, like towards the end of the movie, guys, there's a scene where he jumps down and he's imbued with his lightning.
Yeah.
And he's like annihilating this bridge of enemies. And I'm just thinking in my head, like us playing Destiny going, my super's up.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, somebody's going to make a gif out of that. They're going to be like, when you get your super in Destiny, boom! Start crushing people.
Oh my God, you should be the first one to do it, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know if
You
that's...
should be, Rob.
I don't know if that scene's out there.
You
Somebody
should do
will
it,
be...
Rob.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
Do it now, Rob.
You should do it
right
now.
now.
I can't do it right
Someone
now.
in the comments is probably going to... viewers probably
So you're
gonna
fine with him
review.
missing the hammer now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel like, I don't know. I don't like that it's missing. I mean, it's such a pivotal part of the character. It's an element of the character that has never been fully removed. I mean, to the point where who holds the hammer is Thor. That's the plot they've been going with.
Yeah, I mean, the hammer is part and parcel to him. I mean, he's lost the hammer before, but he's always gotten it back.
Well, he's always gotten it back. It's always been reassembled or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the direction they're going to go in. But in the
they
world of
have
the
to.
movies, I feel like this is the end of Iron Man. Iron Man had the arc reactor removed, and you're like, well, that's technically the end of Iron Man. You know? Oh, look, he's got a suit again. That doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I get it to a degree because if you notice, what it also did is it amped his power up.
Yeah.
He's more powerful now than he was before. Because instead of just, hitting people with a hammer, like now he's the god of thunder and lightning. So he can channel all that. And I mean, the hammer would amplify it. And I can see the hammer being rebuilt because remember, the trolls were the ones who made it. And as far as we know, they're still there.
No, the dwarves.
No,
the dwarves made the hammer.
The dwarves made it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. The dwarves were the ones who made it. And as far as we know, that realm hasn't been destroyed. In the comics, it was totally obliterated. But in the movies, we haven't seen it. There's no reason to believe it's been destroyed yet. So with that in mind, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it sets the stage for Infinity War going into that.
Yeah.
With regards to all his power being amped up.
Do you think that? Well, do you think is him amped up, or do you think they've dummied down his power?
I think he's more amped up now because in addition to all of his super strength and speed and all that kind of stuff, now he can just channel like lightning. So
he's a warlock in Destiny.
Yeah, he's Raiden.
He's Raiden. He did the corkscrew.
Yeah, Thor became Raiden. Yeah.
There's so many gifts we can make out of this movie in the fight sequence.
Just like somebody's gonna put him into like Mortal Kombat.
No, yeah, I remember Odin's Odin actually. Yeah, Odin said that he asked Thor who he was, like the god of thunder or the god of the hammer.
Yeah. Which I think
that's-
is a really cool thing to do. Mm-hmm. Are you the god of thunder or are you the god of hammer? Because the hammer, I don't know. It's almost like the movies are going away from the hammer being important, and I get that the movies and the comics are totally different, the timelines are totally different, I do get that, but I just feel it best wording would be weird. That the comics are so focused on the hammer right now, and the movies are literally like, it's done.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because Odin's son lost his hammer in the comics. He can't lift it anymore.
Yeah.
Jane Foster's the one that picks it up. So in that regard, like they're closer in line with the comics.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. And he got a haircut.
Yeah, and he got a haircut. The problem is, it would have made more sense. Like it would have made more sense if they had Beta Ray Bill, and Beta Ray Bill took the hammer from him. Like that. Those are guys who don't know. Beta Ray Bill was the first person to lift the hammer of Thor in the comics. So if he was the one to get it instead of Odin's son, that would have made more sense. I mean, it also makes sense that it was destroyed. But the problem that I have with Hela destroying the hammer, as cool as it is, I think it was too extreme a display of force. I think that would have been more impressive if Thanos had done it during like Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like Thor goes to throw his hammer and Thanos just.
So you feel like it was used too early?
Exactly. I think breaking it was too early. But that also confirms the theory that I have that like Thanos is going to shatter Captain America's shield in Infinity War. And that'll be like the penultimate, I'm unstoppable. Nobody can beat me because it'll obliterate, you know what I mean?
We'll see.
Thanos destroys freedom in Infinity War. I have no idea.
Okay, moving on so we can keep moving the pace of this thing because we got to move through it a little bit quicker. So Hammer's been shattered. It's gone.
Yes.
They're going through the Rainbow Bridge. Hela jumps in it. As soon as Loki was like, bring us back, I'm like, no, Loki, don't do that.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah. And they get thrown out of the bridge, which showed it to be almost like glass, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And they land in a totally different story.
Yeah. They leapt out of one comic and landed in another.
That's exactly what they did. They landed in Planet Hulk.
Yep.
And then the whole opening is what happens to Hulk when he gets there.
Yeah, it was just funny to me because I was just watching it and I was like, oh, it's cool they're just on a different planet. But just seeing Ben's reaction when the new characters showed up and he was like, oh, they're on the planet Hulk. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
When they said Sakaar, I was like, they're on planet.
Yes.
So they get on there, he gets the obedience disc, and the whole Planet Hulk happens.
Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, I kind of feel was better this way. Because Thor could be more expressive and could do that movie better.
That's true.
The Hulk, the way they portrayed him in the movie, couldn't be done that way.
Yeah.
So the Hulk in the comic gets the disc and becomes smart.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
But you couldn't keep the Hulk the way they've done him in the movie that way. So I get why they did this. Plus, they don't own the rights to the Hulk. So
they can't pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, just seeing the Hulk as he was in the movie, just being able to say more than just Hulk smash was a shock to me.
Well, I mean,
So you found that to be a shock, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's explained in the comic.
Because he was making some kind of conversation with Thor and everyone else.
Friend.
Yeah, he was just, he could
Thor's
communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, and that's how he is in the comic, and they explain it in the comic, and I didn't even think of that. They didn't explain that in the movie. That they gave him an intelligence chip.
Oh,
That's
they
how he
didn't?
can do that.
Really?
Yeah, but they also, well, there's no reason to believe they did that in the movie. It was also the idea that in the other movies he was speaking pretty rationally. Like in the first Avengers movie, like when he smashes the hell out of Loki, he's just like puny god.
But he's
just
not there
walks
very
off.
much.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't speak that way
Did
consistently.
he say that?
Yeah,
Puny
yeah.
God?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
he was pretty lucid. I mean, he was able to speak like a regular person. It wasn't just Savage Hulk 100% of the time. It's just nobody wants to see the Hulk having a conversation, like a normal person. They want to see him smash stuff, especially in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Once all that's out of the way, then let's see him have a conversation.
Yeah.
But like when we first see like full on Incredible Hulk, we want to see him smash stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what they show in the movie too.
Yeah.
When he first shows up here, he just tears apart everything.
Yeah.
We're friends. Stop. Stop
man.
it.
You got to work that excitement out, and then you can go and have that conversation.
I did like the Hulk as the baby Hulk. Like when he was in the like kicking stuff.
Oh, when he was
and,
throwing a tantrum?
Throwing tantrums.
He was pouting.
And he jumps on the bed. You go. You leave.
I felt so bad for Hulk. I was like, "Oh, dude, Thor hurt Hulk's feelings."
Every time he'd just like throw a fit, you could hear Rob just laughing in the theater.
Dude,
It was so
that's
good. I
hilarious.
mean, I loved it. But that's so the
Yeah.
plot that what happened to Thor in that is what happens to the Hulk.
Yeah.
In the Planet Hulk, but the difference is in Planet Hulk they don't escape. Hulk kills the king and conquers the planet.
Oh.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to read, like, if you're curious about Planet Hulk, take the character of Thor and replace him with Hulk, and then take the character of Hulk and replace him with Silver Surfer, and that's Planet Hulk for the most part. It's really cool. Like it's interesting. That being said, like I really feel like the time on Sakaar really it just highlighted like Thor and Hulk.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so amazing.
They're back and forth and everything.
Yeah,
I'm building a team. You, Valkyrie, me, and the Hulk. Hulk, stay. You and me.
Yeah.
No Hulk.
No,
Hulk.
not him. I mean, not Banner, because he wanted to be the Hulk as a part of the team and not Banner.
Yeah.
So he was like, not him, and then then Thor was like, well, then you're not going to be a part of the team then.
Well, that's also
Simple as
a
that.
plot that they didn't go much further into. So this is a part of the whole Hulk thing where Hulk eventually just takes over.
Right.
Now in the comics, they kind of come to an understanding about it. Like Banner agrees that he'll die on Sakaar, so he needs to leave the Hulk in charge.
When did that happen?
It's really early on. They kind of have like a little mental thing. They just kind of go, okay, I probably can't be here,
Oh yeah, just because the environment's so harsh.
Yeah, the environment's
and
too
then
harsh for Banner.
Yeah, then he leaves the Hulk in charge.
And that's how that happens. Banner doesn't black out for 2 years.
Before I forget, you mentioned a mental chip that they put on Hulk's skin, right?
Right, in the comic, yes.
In the comic. Well, you said that he might have it in the movie itself.
Maybe. I mean,
And if
Yeah,
he
that's
did,
never-
They didn't go into it.
If he did the Valkyrie did it or not?
the chip?
Yeah.
The Valkyrie wasn't in the planet Sakaar either. No.
No,
There's a character that is on there that Hulk falls in love with, which I was kind of thinking they were going to do with the Valkyrie at first.
oh yeah, you were. Yeah, no, I would have liked to have seen like Kyra. Dude, how beast would that be if they had the old Strong?
That's what I mean.
Dude,
Like,
that would have been nuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you were asking anyway about the chip.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I mean she was in charge of Thor's chip throughout the whole movie, so I was wondering because Hulk and her were friends, because you could see them interact with each other.
Right.
So I was wondering if she maybe put like a different chip on him, so they could.
No, I don't think he probably had a chip.
Actually, it's possible because there's that line where Banner's talking about how his brain is has more neurons firing than he can like process.
Right.
Like his brain's just moving too fast for him to be able to.
So maybe they did do the intelligence chip and they just didn't tell him.
They just kind of skimmed over it. Yeah, I have no idea.
Maybe it's a deleted scene or so. If those guys who don't know, they've said that since they don't own the rights to the Hulk storyline is going to be in 3 movies, but he's going to cross over movies. So I have a feeling, jumping a little farther into the story, where Banner doesn't want to become the Hulk because he thinks he's fearful that he's going to be trapped in the Hulk forever.
Yeah.
That his whole thing is going to be revisited in the next 2 movies the Hulk shows up in.
I could see them doing that. They could take the Doctor Doom plot. There was a plot where Jason Aaron was writing the Incredible Hulk, and Banner went to Doom. Maybe it was Hulk. One of them went to Doom and said, like, I want the other out of me. And so he basically just removed the Incredible Hulk from Banner.
Oh.
They were separate people.
Yeah, it required like a clone body and that kind of thing in the process. But Banner and Hulk were 2 distinctly different people.
And Hulk wanted to be the hero, and Banner became a psychotic guy trying to kill the Hulk.
Dr. Moreau, man, he was experimenting on animals.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like an animal full
It was
of
one of
Hulk.
my favorite Hulk storylines, too.
Oh, yeah. It's just an island of Hulk animals is all it is.
And the Hulk shows up and he's like, "Ooh!"
Yeah.
I thought your favorite was actually it's not your favorite. I think it's the saddest when
Which?
Hulk just loses everybody. You said.
Oh, World War Hulk. Yeah,
Yes.
no, World War
Oh,
Hulk's a
yeah.
great storyline, too.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
World War Hulk's going to happen during Infinity War.
Yeah, so basically
Really?
what happens is Planet Hulk is he takes over the planet and everything goes. That's what's supposed to happen in the Sakaar thing. He takes over the planet, he rules it, and then everyone he loves dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you-
it's because of a rocket that crash landed onto the planet, so then he goes back to Earth to get revenge.
Yeah.
That's where that comes in. But they're obviously not going to be doing that. So anyway, moving
Yes,
forward, 'cause we were
sorry.
way over, we're not even near the end of the movie at the moment.
Sorry.
Sakaar happens, what?
Oh, I just said sorry.
Oh, no. So Sakaar happens. I think it's some of the best moments. I love the back and forth, the buddy cop behavior, you know.
Yeah.
We're friends, but we're not. I loved Thor's little, "You're my favorite one." and then
And
it becomes
they
Banner.
always
No,
believe
you're the
it.
favorite one.
They always believe it. It's what breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was funny, though. I thought it was hilarious.
And then we started the Banner plot where he became Banner for most of the movie at that point,
Yeah.
which is cool. I want to see that explored, though, in the further movies, but that's what they said is going to happen. I'm really surprised. You know, it says at the very tail ending, Thor will return in Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
It didn't say Hulk will return.
Man, that would be weird if Hulk was not in Infinity War.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I could
It-
see him in Infinity Gauntlet.
But it didn't
But-
say the Hulk will return.
Yeah.
Did we even see him at the ending?
Yeah, he was with. He was standing up there when Thor sat down at like the seat,
Okay.
like the main chair. Like Hulk was off to the right or something like that. Off to
Okay,
the left.
so he was still there. I
Yeah,
know
he
he
was
jumped
there.
up to the ship.
Yeah.
That was also one of the best moments when the giant Serta shows up at the ending.
Oh, dude, that
And
was
Hulk's,
so cool.
he's like, "Hulk, no!" And
Yeah.
Hulk hits him and he lands, "Big monster!"
Yeah, that was
So yeah,
hilarious.
for once, don't be a moron, but monster.
Monster!
Yeah, dude, I love that. Like, God, Hulk was so hilarious. in
Yeah,
this
he
movie.
was.
The only problem is he was an uncontrollable beast that required Natasha to say the phrase.
Oh my god! Every time.
Oh,
Every
I'm
time
sorry,
she, I mean, if you
No,
want to
go
go ahead, I was just saying every time she shows up and like just seeing his reaction to seeing her just breaks my heart. Like every time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
But just going back to what she said, the Hulk's character was so different.
dude,
Because he needed to be calmed down every time, and in this time he's a kid throwing tantrums.
dude, the gladiator scene where he's like, "Hey, big fella, the sun's getting low," and then he just grabs it.
I love Loki jumping up. Yeah, so the Thor comes over and he's like, "Hey, big fella," he does the Natasha thing, and he puts his hand out, and Hulk grabs it, and he starts slamming Thor, and Loki jumps up. That's what it feels like.
I was so happy about it. It's
Yes,
true.
that was amazing. Yeah, no, I mean it's that's kind of the interesting thing, and I really do kind of hope they explain that a little bit more. I mean, the whole idea was that the Hulk was unpredictable to a degree, but it was almost like the Hulk would experience like a warrior's madness
Yeah.
of Thor, where he would get like he'd be reasonable when he became the Hulk, and then he would just lose it halfway through the conflict. And I think that's what it was. It's like in Avengers: Age of Ultron, and in the other Avengers film, that he would get so swept up in the moment of fighting that he just wouldn't be able to calm down to a reasonable, rational state. For the
Well,
whole thing.
actually,
So,
I mean, he was the Hulk for 2 years.
yeah.
So, I mean, you would assume he'd gain more cognitive features and be able to talk better and
Yeah.
have a better grasp on what's happening.
Yeah.
Because they established it was 2 straight years of the Hulk.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he had no idea what had happened.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of cool. I mean, I would love to see the Hulk in Infinity War. I hope he does come back, but
I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be weird for the Hulk not to show up in the big budget movie.
yeah,
If he doesn't, they better have some huge plans for him.
yeah, something big.
Yeah. No, I think they've shown the actor. What's his name? I think he's
Mark
been on
Ruffalo?
the I think he's been on
Mark
the set for
Ruffalo,
Infinity
yeah.
War.
I don't know. I mean, the trailer's not dropped yet, and that's the other. I was hoping the trailer would come out. I
Yeah.
guess it'll come out with Star Wars.
I will say this
Probably.
side note: the Black Panther trailer was in the front of
Oh
it,
yeah.
and Nathalie was in awe. I was looking at her.
Because I have never seen it. I just wanted, like, for once, I just wanted one superhero movie that I was not watching a trailer for, and that was Black Panther. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god,
That looks so good.
it really
Eric
did.
Killmonger is going to be amazing.
See, I'm always iffy on Black Panther because I feel Black Panther is a great character with a great story. And almost every writer, either does too much political stuff to the point where I'm not interested, or they ignore it all.
Yeah.
And he's just Black Panther hanging out with other people. And you're like, no, you have a rich character that's a king. You can find a nice balance in there and tell me a good story.
Yeah.
Because like Tagasi Coates.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. His whole series got run. It got canceled, basically, at this
No,
point.
Black Panther's still going.
But he did spin-offs because it was so well. Now
Oh,
it
Black
canceled.
Panther and the Crew. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one didn't do too
But what
well.
I'm saying is like I feel like that's too political. But the previous Black Panthers had him just teaming up with the Avengers, and you're like,
Yeah, he became Daredevil for a while.
that's what I mean. Like, and that's cool. But we have
What?
Wakanda and all this other stuff. Why isn't he over here doing this
Yeah,
stuff?
during the events of Shadowland, I think it was either during or after Black Panther came to New York, and he was Daredevil.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
he
you have
replaced
such a great
Daredevil.
character. Why does he do these things?
Yeah,
But, so that was a side note. Anyway,
Yes.
so we're on Sakaar. Hulk acting a little out of character, but enjoyable. Definitely enjoyable. Regardless of it being in character or
Oh,
out of
yeah,
character,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
enjoyable. And for those of you who don't know, the Hulk does change personalities quite a bit in the comics.
Yeah.
We've had everything from the dumbest Hulk to a guy called Doc Green, who's the smartest Hulk ever.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, and then we have Maestro, the villain Hulk.
yeah, but he's not on the same intelligence level as Doc Green.
You don't think so?
No, I mean he's smart, but he's more of like a warlord smart.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. I don't think they ever really pushed like the limits of his knowledge of science and technology. So I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, the Hulk's done that kind of thing before. I wish there was more explanation in the movie for people like you,
Yeah.
so you weren't like, well, what happened? Why was he like this?
Yeah.
But it is kind of cool because it leaves a little bit of teasing.
right.
If you know they're going to explain it later on, it gives you a reason to see.
But
what that
the
Yeah.
problem is they gave you no indication they're going to. So if you weren't like us following the news reports,
That's true.
you don't know they're going to be exploring a Hulk plotline.
You're
That's
still gonna go see it though, regardless.
Oh, I will,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's me. That's
No, I
part
mean,
of
like
our
in
job.
general, people are going to. If they enjoyed that specific movie, then they're just gonna want to see the follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we move on to the next portion. So they team up. They eventually break off. For the record, what's his name? The villain,
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster, was awesome.
Yes, he's a lot more interesting than he was in the comics.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
In the
Well, so in the
comics, he's
comics,
boring.
he's an elder of the universe.
Yeah,
Okay.
So he's just invincible. You can't take him out. He just reassembles. He's been
What?
blasted. Yeah.
Yeah. He
He's
was-
been around since the dawn of time. There's like a series of them, and the Guardians of the Galaxy right now are actually talking to a bunch of them. There's like the Gardener, and there's the Grand Master.
there's a
and
collector, the
Collector,
racer, or the runner.
and they're all immortal. They're
I
just,
think that's
they've
it.
been-
No, there's the champion of the universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like the recent comic had the Collector and the Grand Master fighting outright,
Yeah.
and all they did was like tear each other apart and then reassemble and go, okay, now what?
What?
So the
Yeah.
the way the elders work is they are the last surviving members of their own race from however many billions of years ago. Now they did have a plot where they were, I can't remember what it was that they were trying to do. No, they were trying to gain the power of Galactus, destroy the universe, and then be reborn into the next universe with the power of Galactus. And like they were defeated, and Mistress Death banished them from her realm. So that's why they're immortal. That's why they can never die. Yeah. So
So knowing that he's immortal, I don't really feel too bad for him at the very end.
no,
Oh,
he loves playing
because-
games. That's his
yeah,
whole thing.
Yeah,
He's not gonna die
That's
then.
what that was his whole. And I wish there was. It literally could have just been a passing line.
Yeah.
He's an immortal elder of the universe, and
Yeah.
his entire personality, I think, makes 10 times more sense.
Oh, dude, Jeff Goldblum, man, I love him.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest things because Charlie at Emergency Awesome had talked about Grandmaster, and he was like, so Grandmaster in like Thor is basically just Jeff Goldblum, not acting like anybody but himself.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. But I feel like the way he acted and his zero care for anything. The guy gave zero F's about everything.
Right, right.
And I feel like that makes more sense when you know he's an immortal guy who's been around forever.
Well, he kind of says
Nothing
that.
surprises him.
He says, outside of Sakaar, I'm billions of years old. He's
Yeah.
like, but here, whatever. And I guess it's just, I mean, he's still billions of years old.
Yeah.
So, but they don't, I mean, but it's not overt. It's not at any point along the lines of the movie. He's like, I've been around for 5 billion years.
Right.
There's
It's not like
nothing
in
that.
Guardians when they met Ego.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've been around for so many years. And that, I mean, and that even that, I'm not even saying we needed much explanation. I just feel like a little more explanation to his overall behavior because he just is so nonchalant about everything.
Yeah. He's like the ultimate stoner. He just doesn't care.
Did Loki know about him at all?
I assume Loki did at that point.
Because he was
feared
trying
the
to get on
Grandmaster.
his good side. So I
Yeah.
was assuming,
Well-
is he either like trying to play mind games because he's trying to like get close to the bad guys, or he knows what he is and he just wants him on his side?
I don't know.
He said he was
I mean,
going to remove him.
Yeah,
Try to
he
get
said
rid
he
of him.
wanted to take
How
him
is he
down.
going to do that when he's immortal?
Well, he just said he and Thor. I mean, keep in mind, like, despite the fact that he's immortal, like, Grandmaster's not godly powerful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't do anything.
I mean,
You
well, he
just
can
remove him.
fight, and I mean, he can overcome a lot of characters, but I mean, like, Hulk
can-
would get he would decimate Grandmaster.
Right, right.
So, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So they escape off the planet. We discover Valkyrie, which I thought was a cool, different spin on Valkyrie. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's a character in herself, isn't she?
Yes.
In the comics with no real history like that.
Yes, that is her history.
That is the history? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought, because I've always known her just as Valkyrie.
Well, it was weird. Originally, she was just a name the Enchantress gave herself in order to, like, trick all the top female superheroes into, like, destroying men or whatever it is. And then I can't remember what her ultimate goal was. It was something nonsensical. And then what you ended up finding out is there actually are Valkyries. And Valkyr is the leader of the Valkyries. And the idea of the Valkyries is all they do is just take those individuals who have died in the name of Asgard, an honorable death, and take them to Valhalla. That's all they are. They're fairy women, more or less.
Right, right.
And the idea was that it was an essence that a Valkyrie had apparently died, and then it was given to a new person. And that Valkyrie is basically Brunhild, is her name, or Brunhild, whatever you want to call her. But in any event, no, that is an actual. Now we never learn her name. All we know is that she's Valkyrie. My guess is when they show the flashback to the scene and the blonde chick jumped in the way and died.
Yeah.
That was Brunhild.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because that one, I couldn't remember the whole plot, but that one looked familiar enough to me that I was like, that's the one I'm used to seeing in the comics.
Yeah, Brunhild is the blonde-haired chick.
Yeah.
So she's a female version of Thor, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not female Thor. That's a different
Yeah,
character.
not Jane
yeah,
Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster. Yeah.
So anyway, okay, they get off the planet. They go back to fight. I mean, I feel like we can kind of go through we've mentioned so many scenes in the ending
Yeah.
already at this point.
Yeah.
I feel it was a really epic finale kind of fight sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the way that Thor had to overcome it. He couldn't just power through.
Yeah.
Which I think was really good. I mean, that's what we kind of come to expect in all superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to eventually get enough power and beat up the villain.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that that wasn't the thing. Yeah, we got to see them tearing apart everyone. Scourge got a nice, I think, redemption.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was funny because
was a
they
cool
kept
death.
following him, and I was like, he's gonna vanish,
Oh,
and he'll
yeah.
be a sequel character, or he's gonna redeem himself. I like the redemption of Scourge.
That was my thought. My thought was he was just going to be on the boat and like on the ship.
The ship, yeah.
And then you weren't going to see him again until the next movie.
Right.
The only problem I had with his redemption is it didn't really mean much because you didn't really see much development. Like,
Yeah.
he was there and he was like, yeah, man, like I'm guarding this since Heimdall's gone. And then it was like, I guess his allegiances were torn, but you didn't really know where his allegiance lied in the first place. I mean, you knew he fought alongside Thor, but like there's a lot of people in comics who fought alongside Thor and became enemies. So it doesn't, that doesn't really mean much. So
I think he was just trying to be on whoever was the winning side at the time
Yeah.
to eventually just
Well, he was until
help
the very
at the
end.
very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. To eventually
But
just
that's the problem is his return. I mean, they were going for the Darth Vader effect, but the problem is you had so much development with Vader that it mattered when he went back to the light side. With Scourge, he just
That's true.
didn't have that much
Yeah.
development.
And Scourge isn't even like a cool character from the books or something.
Yeah, Scourge the Executioner. He's not interesting at all.
Oh,
No.
he was the executioner
Yeah.
in the
yeah.
comics?
Yeah, he's Scourge the Executioner. Yeah.
Oh.
He's an actual character.
Well, everyone in there was, yeah. So, I mean, his redemption was okay. Thor turned into, I mean, we've joked about it, but turned into a Warlock or Titan. He became a Destiny character is what it really came down to.
Exactly.
He was multi-class. I was waiting for him to jump up and be like, lightning bow!
Yeah, I was waiting for like the huge battle sequence to finish. It was like Destiny 2 in stores now.
In Thor's defense, his powers were there before Destiny came out, so
Yeah.
you know.
Wow,
predates
now he's telling
Destiny.
us.
That's true. I mean, no, seriously. I mean,
It
Yeah.
is true.
when you're looking at Bungie, you're like,
He had summoned lightning in Avengers. That's true. So
So, I mean, we had that big sequence. I feel Valkyrie and Hulk got pushed to the sidelines at this point, though.
They did.
She had very little fighting to do, and the Hulk just kind of dropped down. Banner decided, I'm going to give the Hulk another shot. They fought the Wolf, and then Hulk had the final joke, Monster!
But it is cool because it was basically an introduction to the characters. Because correct me if I'm wrong, you walked away from this movie knowing that Valkyrie was at one point a servant of Asgard and then quit because everybody she knew got killed by Hela.
Yep.
That's all you get. And she's been a drunk trying to make her way through it ever since. That's all you have.
Yep.
But that leaves room for the backstory to be developed in the next however many movies that she appears in, which I want to see. I love the character of Valkyrie. And the actress,
I think this is the last Thor, though.
Beautiful.
I don't think this is Thor 4.
No, but I'm saying in future movies where it involves her
okay.
character. Yeah, I want to see that.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's like Captain America and Iron Man, where they had 3 planned, and now they're going to try other things.
Well, that kind of brings us to the ending of the movie, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. So basically, the way the movie's resolved at this point, we discover Thor has the power inside of him. Didn't need the hammer, but it's still not enough to beat Hel. And he discovers he needs to bring Ragnarok because she gets her powers from Asgard. So they're going to destroy Asgard to cut her off from her power, and that's basically how the movie resolves.
Yeah. Now, the actions of
she's not killed, by the way, though. She's just blasted with the sword, but for all we know,
she's dead.
Oh yeah, you could see it. It was
Yeah, it was
he literally just put the sword through her.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's dead. I mean,
she could have teleported.
Technically speaking,
she's the goddess of death.
She is a goddess of death. Technically speaking, Hela cannot be killed.
Right.
Well, none of the Asgardians can be killed, which brings us to the ending of the movie. So, the idea of Surtur wiping out Asgard is Norse mythology. In Norse mythology, Surtur waits until basically all the gods have died or been killed or whatever, and then just burns everything away and makes way for the new gods to show up. So
the new gods.
Yeah, the new generation of gods, more or less, to show up. In the comics, J. Michael Straczynski took over. So what happened was you had the story, Thor Ragnarok, and then everything ended. It was just the death of Thor, or the perceived death of Thor, so on and so forth. Anyway, Thor comes back in 2007 after the Ragnarok story's finished, some 3 years later. And the whole idea was that all the Asgardians who had died were reborn in human form. Their essences were locked in human form. And so it was his goal to, 1, recreate Asgard, which he did in Broxton, Oklahoma, and then 2, to go through and unlock the essences of all those different Asgardians. The first person he unlocks is Heimdall, because Heimdall can see everything.
Right.
So he can say, well, here's everybody you need to go find. And so, after unlocking Heimdall, he starts traveling around to everybody else. Loki's reborn as a chick.
That was. I always thought he did that on his own whim.
No, he took the body that was supposed to be meant for Sif. Yeah, so it was actually pretty funny. Yeah, he comes back as a chick.
I know we had female Loki for a while, but then he just on a whim can be female Loki, old man Loki, young Loki.
That happened because he was female Loki, and then I believe they forced him to switch. Something happened where anyway Sif got her body back, and then Loki died during the events of Siege on Asgard. And then that led into him being reborn as a kid. So that's where Kid Loki comes from.
Oh, okay.
So
Jesus.
Yeah, the Loki storyline in the comics is so
complicated.
weird.
it's a tumultuous history.
Yeah.
It's just
Jesus.
waxing and waning.
So that brings us to the ending, though.
Yeah.
He's now the king. He's got an eye patch, which is a cool nod to future Thor.
Yes, old King Thor.
Old King Thor has a patch on. You were asking me if he loses his eye?
Yes.
He never loses it in the comics outright, but we've seen him in the future, like 900 years in the future, and he has an eye patch.
Of course.
So he's lost it there.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I think Ultimate Thor lost it, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, if he did, then no, I don't think he did because in Thor's he had both eyes.
Oh, okay.
So unless they changed something between the time that he perceivably lost it and Thor's from Secret Wars, I don't know.
Okay.
I never followed Ultimate Thor.
But that brings us to the conclusion where he's decided he's going to go back to Earth and he's going to bring Asgard back.
Wait. Before that,
Okay.
Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens to him afterwards?
Oh,
'Cause he
Surtur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. The big fiery guy.
Yeah, big fiery guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he
big
goes back to
fiery
his
guy.
realm.
Yeah, he just goes away. There's a whole realm of fire.
But is he staying the same size, or is he like downgrading
Well,
maybe?
He's at full power now, so I guess he shrinks back down. I don't know.
He's made out of fire, so he can kind of grow with fire, shrink with fire, the whole
Yeah,
nine
but
yards.
I thought that the whole point of him being so big is because they used the immortal
The
fire?
eternal flame, the fire that
yes.
will never go out.
Yes.
Yeah, the Eternal Flame wasn't designed to do anything more than restore him to full power.
Okay.
When that happens, his job is to destroy Asgard.
Okay.
So he achieved his job, so he just goes back to his own realm.
Right.
He's done working for the day.
It's a
So-
prophecy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And is the fire just gone? That's it? Or
I mean, eventually, yeah. Well, all of Asgard's obliterated, so it's gone. I mean, his own realm is a realm made of fire.
Yeah, so he's
the
fine.
when the movie first picked up and Thor was talking to him,
Yes.
that was the realm of Surtur. That's
Okay.
Muspelheim.
okay.
So Surtur will just go back there once he's done.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Funny side note. Think about this for a minute. We went to Odin's vault.
yeah.
The mask of Surtur and the eternal flame, from the way that was shot and cut together, looked like they were 3 items apart.
What do you mean?
The mask that makes Surtur, from the way that the shot was, it looked like it was mask, tesseract cube, eternal flame. So if you put the flame and the mask together, you get Ragnarok. Whose idea was it to put those 2 items next to each other in the vault?
Yeah. Hey, here's like the 3 most important things that if somebody had all 3, they could just destroy everything. Here they are, right here. Just take them.
It was hilarious to me that she just, the goddess, I'm sorry, I can't remember
Hela?
the names.
Hela.
Yes, Hela, thank you. She just walks past and then just knocks over the gauntlet and just like, it's not
Yes.
important, whatever.
No, so there's a reason they did that.
Oh, really?
So the gauntlet was originally in the first Thor as a fun Easter egg, just like the shield for Captain America, without any full intention or planning to make it
Yeah.
to Infinity War.
And then
Well, then it blew up, and they
Blew
started
up.
doing the stones, which then led to a lot of questions of what happened to the stones in the gauntlet that was in the vault.
Yeah.
Like, did they get separated? Are they missing? And it was never revisited, and it was just kind of assumed that that's just there, and like no one. It was always a problem. They're looking for the stones, but they're all supposedly collected in Odin's vault. How does that work? Is the gauntlet? So I loved that she walked in and just knocked it over and said, "Oh, it's a fake."
yeah, it's
Because
not
that
real.
just that
That's
solves
right, that's
that.
what she said,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a
It's a
fake.
fake,
And
yeah.
so right off the bat, you're like, that resolves that. We're getting the stones.
pretty much.
And
the
what-
actual Infinity Stones are out there.
And what about the cube? What happened to it?
I think Loki took it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
no.
he was the last one to go in the actual vault, so.
I think Loki hasn't.
Oh, I imagine he does.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, the way he looked at it,
They
I mean,
implied it
it's-
for some reason.
it's an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
So
Is
it's
it
the-
Tesseract Cube?
It's the Space Stone.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was gonna use it to wish, like, for Asgard to be back to normal or something, because you said that it could.
Pretty much you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
can
a
do whatever
wishing
you
box.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can defy the laws of physics with the Cosmic Cube.
Jesus.
Yeah, you could wish for 2 objects to occupy the same space at the same time. I don't know. You can do anything you want to with it. But I think Loki's gonna die.
I could see that. He's got the stone now. They're going to take the stone.
Why?
I think what's going to happen in Infinity War, Thor's going to rebuild Asgard, and probably in Norway. There's
Yeah.
no reason to do it in Broxton, Oklahoma. Like
Well,
it is
they
in
made
the
a big
comics.
stink about Norway.
Yeah, exactly. They kept focusing on Norway all the time. So I think he's going to rebuild it in Norway. I think Loki has a Tesseract. Thor doesn't know, and I don't think Thor's ever going to find out. I think that like Thanos and his guys will show up on Earth, and it'll basically be siege on Asgard. It'll just be an all-out assault on Earth, and Asgard will be one of the places they assault. And I think Loki will sacrifice his life to try to keep the Cosmic Cube away from Thanos, who will get it anyway.
That'd be interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what'll happen.
So that leads us to the post-credit scene. The ship that rose up. What is the black what?
I can't remember. It's
Black Guard?
oh no, you're talking about the people who were there?
Yeah, no, the
Black
Thanos-
Order.
Black Order, that
Yeah.
was it. That ship
I
is
thought you were
Thanos'
talking about the
ship.
name of the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
no,
it's-
yeah, the Black Order is Thanos'.
Because the next movie is Infinity War. Thanos is finally going to attack for all the stones.
No, the next one is Black Panther, then Infinity War.
But I don't think Black Panther's going to tie in it.
No, Black Panther's gonna be
because this one definitely leaned towards Infinity War stuff. I think Black Panther's going to be on its own.
I don't believe that. I
No?
think Black Panther is where the Soul Stone is. And I think the Soul Stone will be how they say that the Black Panthers communicate with the Panther god Bast.
Either that or based on the color scheme. Isn't the Soul Stone the yellow one?
It changes.
Well, if it is the yellow one, the enemy Black Panther suit has the yellow surgeon. Maybe he taps into the power
Of the Soul
unnaturally,
Stone?
and he's the true Black Panther. You know, so you have the true and then the unnatural.
And so the weird thing about the Infinity Stones, all the Infinity Stones do what they're designed, like what they're assigned to. So like the Reality Stone manipulates reality, Time Stone manipulates time. The Soul Stone is the only one that I'm aware of that has a world inside the stone. So like it houses the souls of people that the stone is stolen. And so like you could literally go into Soul World inside the Soul Stone, which means that depending on what happens, any number of things could happen based out of that. Characters could come out, new characters could come out of it, get their bodies, restored. It could be that like Eric Killmonger gets thrown in there. So it's entirely possible the Soul Stone's there, that he's one that hasn't. But nonetheless, it'd be interesting. Yeah.
So overall, now that we've gone through everything and we've kind of more analyzed a lot of the things, I'm still a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of what they did to the Hulk, but I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
accept it. I still like it.
Why not?
I just thinking back on it, that was a lot of character changing for the Hulk, but I kind of liked comical Hulk better than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I went into this movie just with my knowledge of the previous movies. That's it. So for me, it was a blast
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Rob?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Alright.
It was like a buddy cop movie. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you guys enjoyed this, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think about Thor Ragnarok. If you want to chat with us on Twitter, you can find Nathalie at Zonical Candy. You can find me at Comicstorian, and Rob doesn't matter.
Wow.
Comics Explained.
Yeah.
All He's over at Comics
I
Explained.
don't matter at all.
I can say that all I want. The Rob Corps will tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, they will. Rob does matter. He does matter.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. A lot longer than the normal episode of the R&BE. And we will see you next week right here at the Rob and Benny Experiment with occasional guest star Nathalie. You know what this reminds me of, just real quick? Did you ever watch the old 70s Batman show with Adam West?
Nope.
No, okay.
Well, I've seen some episodes.
So they had an intro, and the way they would do their intros, it'd be Batman, right? They did the whole thing, and it would show Batman and Robin, Batman and Robin, Batman and Robin. And I remember when I was a kid, I'd watch that show with my dad. And you always knew if it was an episode that Batgirl was going to be in, because they would get to the whole end, and at the end of the entire thing, it would then go and Batgirl.
Yeah. Batman's +1.
So if you remember that, let me know in the comments down below. But I remember, I mean, I was a kid, you know,
Yeah.
and you had female Batman, and it was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked girls. All right, we'll see you guys next time right here.
Peace.